policy that works while not hindering innovation.
While Collins envision.
Right. So you could have a business in Lagos, Nigeria, but ship worldwide. You ship to people in Uganda or South Africa or in the UK or in America or Canada, right? And so we live in a time where you don't see your customer, right? We've gone from having your mom and pop shop down the street where you know everybody in your area, all that stuff, right? To now having global businesses that actually thanks to shipping and everything and logistics, you're able to now ship globally and sell your goods globally. And then the other part is that people are no longer in one location, so they also are starting to you're born here, but you immigrate there, you immigrate there. So people are also very, very mobile, right? So they're all over the place. So what I see in the future is that data will become as mobile as a company or as a person.
Curriculum is on the brink of launching Prolific, an AI chatbot designed to be trained with specific data to provide accurate answers in multiple languages. Another forthcoming solution is an AI-driven fraud detection system which enhances transaction security.
Prolific is essentially it's an AI chatbot, so it's an artificial intelligence chatbot. So what it does is that you can train. So it's kind of like your own personalized chat GPT, where you can train it with your own data and then ask it questions where you can now get answers on it. So for example, let's say you have a 1,000-page document and you want to get some information on that document. You don't want to read the whole thing because it's 1,000 pages, right? So you can train the ML model with that document, and then you can ask it specific things in the document and it will come out, right? So it's like your own personal chat GPT, right? So that is a product that we're coming out with. It's going to be available in multiple different languages, not just English. So basically our main languages in Nigeria, so Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, is going to have ability, so you can chat with it in those languages. You can chat with it in Swahili, in Zulu, in French, English, of course. I think we have Kosa capabilities as well. So I think there's Arabic coming in as well at some point. So basically we built it's for Africans by Africans. So it has our nuances, where we speak and so on, right? So that's one solution that we're going to be coming out with.
Curriculum also invests in the future by offering an internship program for young tech enthusiasts. Michael Collins Curriculum is more than just a data analytic company. It is a beacon of innovation and progress for Africa. By understanding and harnessing the continent's youthful energy and abundant resources, Curriculum is not only solving present-day problems, but also paving the way for a prosperous future. In the wake of a global pandemic, mental health issue became more prominent, highlighting the need for accessible mental health care across the world. Now in Africa, a continent with rich cultural diversity and unique challenges, this need was even more critical. Now this is the story of Akoma Health, an innovation mental health platform addressing the mental health crisis in Africa.
Akoma Health came about Mostly due to the problem we saw around mental health and people's needs on the continent during the pandemic, but the difficulty of being able to find a therapist or psychologist who could meet the specific needs that people had on ground in Africa. And those were things like somebody that understood your background and context and cultural context, for example, could offer advice and have understanding of family dynamics. My name is Melanie Williams. I am the CEO of Akoma Health and also the founder.
In the heart of Africa, amidst the vibrant cultures and dynamic communities, a silent crisis often goes unnoticed. The mental health struggles of millions have long been overshadowed by more visible challenges. However, during the pandemic, these hidden battles become more apparent, prompting the establishment of Akoma Health.
One of the big issues in Nigeria when it comes to healthcare, and this isn't just mental health, is that people just go one time and then they feel better and then they stop going. So it could be with, let's say, I don't know, they're supposed to be going and receiving some injection every single week. People are going to go once, maybe they'll go twice. Then as soon as they start feeling better, they stop going again. Unfortunately, that's just not supposed to be how it works, because you have to keep going and you have to complete your course of, medication for you to see the full results and prevent future recurrences. So for those that do come consistently, as guided by the psychologist, there are many different instances of where we've seen success stories. We've supported marriages that were maybe on the brink of, separation. We've supported those that were going to medical doctors for years, trying to get a reason and understanding of certain physical ailments they were having, like sleeplessness. They were gaining weight, all these things that just could not be understood by medical practitioners. They came to therapy and realized that a lot of these things were stress-induced. And the psychologists were able to help them through talk therapy on over a few sessions each week. We've seen so many instances of postpartum depression where people felt very isolated after giving birth and needed the support of a therapist because they didn't necessarily have that support within their household, which seems to be more and more common these days. And so there have been many success stories without necessarily sharing details because we definitely respect the privacy of our clients. But there are some general things that we've seen over and over again, specifically when it comes to issues of marriage, when it comes to issues of postpartum, which are key changes in people's lives, when it comes to issues of jobs, promotion, losing jobs, or a lot of people in the workplace getting fired, when it comes to health concerns, especially for chronic diseases. We know that those with chronic diseases are 80% more likely to suffer some form of mental health crisis afterwards, be it depression, anxiety, stress.
From the stresses of everyday life to the complexities of family dynamics, the mental health landscape in Africa is unique. Yet, many were missing the crucial support they needed, unable to afford the high fees of international therapy services.
So, Akoma Health came about mostly due to the problem we saw around mental health and people's needs on the continent during the pandemic, but the difficulty of being able to find a therapist or psychologist who could meet the specific needs that people had on ground in Africa. And those were things like somebody that understood your background and context and cultural context, for example, could offer advice and have understanding of family dynamics, for example. That's somebody that can understand the stresses of having to deal with certain scarcities or availability or traffic and certain stresses that happen on a daily basis and the context of, for example, working and work dynamics. And many people were missing from that angle, but also were unable to afford the high fees of therapy internationally from competitors like BetterHelp and so on. So we decided to build Akoma Health, having spoken to many people like ourselves who face challenges of accessing therapy, and we really wanted to meet the need.
Akoma Health's mission is to increase the quality of human capital by addressing these issues head-on.
Mission is really to increase productivity of Africans, increase the quality of our human capital. And so, as I mentioned prior, mental health issues can actually go on to cause further issues when it comes to how productive you can be at work. It's sometimes you could be showing up and not able to really indulge or connect with the work or connect with your co-workers or think outside of the box because you're so stressed or overwhelmed with whatever life challenges are, how they're affecting you. So what we really want to do is make sure that people are able to show up as their full selves. People are able to show up confidently without their limiting beliefs and really be able to apply themselves productively in the workplace, think outside the box, be fully present when they're contributing to meetings, working on projects, and also be productive in how they contribute to society and their families and so on. So it starts with mental health for healthcare for us and applies to many other aspects of life.
Unlike many other platforms, Akoma Health prides itself on a rigorous selection process, ensuring that only highly trained psychologists and psychiatrists are part of their network. These professionals come from various parts of Africa, offering diverse perspectives and care in local currencies.
We have highly trained psychologists on our platform. Those psychologists have gone through rigorous interviews and a selection process to be able to exist on our platform. Many other platforms actually do not have a rigorous process of assessment. They actually allow most people on. Not only do they allow most people on, but most of them are actually also not psychologists. A lot of them are actually therapists, which have a very different level of qualifications and requirements within Nigeria and across other parts of Africa. Number two is not only do we have qualified psychologists, but we have qualified psychologists across Africa. So some of our psychologists are from Ghana, some of them are from Kenya, and many other regions, which allow for, if you want a different perspective from a different region or a different kind of care, we're able to provide that to you also on our platform while being able to pay in your local currency.
The journey began with an idea at Stanford Business School, and through rigorous research and partnerships, it has grown into a lifeline for many.
Class I was doing at business school. So I went to Stanford Business School many years ago. And at Stanford, I came up with the idea of building a mental health business. And when I came up with the idea, we started doing the research, and much of the research I've told you about, and we saw a significant gap and opportunity in the market to essentially provide mental health services to Africans in Africa who were particularly underserved from a mental health perspective, but also had a very big and growing need. So we decided to build this ourselves. We started by building our website, as well as recruiting psychologists and forming partnerships with associations like the National Association of Clinical Psychologists to make sure that we had access to the best pool of active mental health professionals on the continent. We also started providing therapy directly to the psychologists. So the first step was to essentially build out the team and the resources that we required to test out initial demand. So we started out by building a website at least that could help allow for bookings, as well as connecting individuals with the psychologists that we had initially screened through our partnerships with the National Association of Clinical Psychologists. We also had to come up with a price point and see what people were willing to pay. And generally from there, that's how we grew. We started understanding what kind of technological needs people had on ground, the kind of, platforms and forms of devices that people like to use when they're having their therapy sessions, and so much more.
From an initial focus on individual therapy, Akoma has expanded to offer B2B services, working with employers and health insurance to provide therapy for their members. This approach ensures that more people can access mental health support without financial barriers.
We are accessible through a number of through a number of health management organizations. A lot of the health insurers and HMOs offer Akoma Health to their subscribers and their members. And so you wouldn't even have to pay out of pocket if you want to access Akoma Health. If you would like to pay out of pocket because your employer or your health insurer does not cover Akoma Health, sessions start from as low as 15,000 per individual session, or you can get subscriptions, which bring down the cost of each session even more. The first part of that is if you're an employer and you're interested in an Akoma Health partnership, you can essentially select time on our website to talk further about it. There's a communication tab there to find out more information. We would want to know things like how many employees you have, how many sessions you'd like to make available to each of your employees, maybe some other of the issues that are relevant to the company, so we can speak specifically to the company at the onboarding session about, whether it's stress or financial worries or, economic woes or whatever, or maybe it's promotion time of year and we're talking about things, anxiety related to that. We can generally talk about things that may be specific to what most people in the company are thinking about. And then beyond that, we can essentially get to a place where we sign a service level agreement, a contract that essentially defines our relationship and puts much of that in writing. And we will essentially start from there. So that's typically a positive and easy path to getting things done.
Despite challenges such as economic instability and technical issues, Akoma Health continues to thrive, driven by commitment to improving mental health care. And that's all we can take on this episode of Startups. See you again next time. I'm Tamilore Akinkolie.
Hi people, what's up guys? How are we doing? All right, are you bored out there looking for gist, looking for something to spice up your day? Guys, guess what? We are here. We got you covered. Of course, 360 Vibes got you covered. Welcome back to the show, guys. It's your girl Faith SJ. Now, here in 360 Vibes, you know how we do it. Music, comedy, fashion, all the trending stories you want to know. As I earlier said, if you are bored, we got you covered, and you always know how we do it. I'm not here alone on the show. I'm here with my squad. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
How
we
are
the Gist
you?
partners.
Yes. Queenie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I love your new look.
No, thank you.
So, hi guys, welcome back to the show. It's your girl Queen on Instagram at AlexRader. It's been a while, but don't worry, I am here, so just
It's
relax.
been a while. Of course, yes, it's been a while. Hi guys, welcome to another exciting edition of the show. I am Victoria Konde on Instagram, Victoria_extra, and today's edition promises to be exciting as usual. So fasten your seatbelts as we bring you the latest gist from social media and the world of entertainment.
All right, we'll quickly go on a short break. You know how we do it, but when we are back, we'll dive into the gist for today. Don't go anywhere right after this break. Welcome back, guys. All right, so as we all know now, Genge, Priscilla Ojo's first daughter.
No, Iyabo
Ojo, rather. Iyabo Ojo first daughter has come out to unveil her new boyfriend to us. And guys, we were even thinking he's going to be a Nigeria person, but
she traveled to Tanzania.
To Tanzania, like to our greatest
all
surprise.
The way to Tanzania.
And now he's not just a Tanzania, but he is a what? Singer,
yes.
He's a Juma what?
Jumanju.
So guys, this
sounds like Jumanji.
I'm telling you, like. So this is what Priscilla Ojo's daughter is giving us, to our greatest surprise. So, well, ladies, what do you think?
It's actually really good, and it's everyone's like, oh, so this is a man that is eating all this, or like genge, like this is a man.
So, okay.
That is okay. Like she's dating, and it's really really nice. Like finally they've seen the guy that she's dating, but like they're like, why did you go far?
Actually, like we were thinking it's after all the whole cute guys we have here in Nigeria.
You went
like,
far.
Oh, well, you people should calm down. When all these gospel artists were traveling
abroad
to continents to pick their wives, so you guys didn't have a problem with that. Now you're not like
but we never saw that coming. Actually,
Tanzania, yeah,
but like the major thing that now attracted people was the way the photos,
the pictures, they were amazing.
But you know, like when you go to the post setting, you're all looking half bodied and like you're showing skin and everything, and all of a sudden she's like,
and those positions though, those positions were like
just position.
I'm telling you,
we just found out through those pictures that finding a relationship, and like
was it the guy that posted it?
Exactly,
it was the guy that posted it, and she just commented,
like, oh this, I'm like, oh okay, they're actually official.
So me, at a point I was thinking, like, babe, why are you hiding him?
But you guys, I thought she was dating. Although they didn't come out to say that they were dating, but they had a very close relationship. This is Eniolu Adeolu.
Yeah.
So we actually thought, Nigerians actually thought probably they were in a relationship or something, and now she came out to, no, we are not in a relationship with Eniolu, that it is Jumanju that I'm in a relationship with, and that's got people talking that, okay, so what are you now with Eniolu? But let's not forget the fact that Eni said a long time ago, I already mentioned it, that you are just very good friends. So let's stop jumping into conclusions and shipping people that are not even shipping themselves. So that's it. But people actually were like, okay, those positions, and the fact that if she's still quite young, and probably if it wasn't a celebrity or something, that as we were that young and you're just staying at home and you're not making that much money, and you post such a picture with a man, that they may actually come for you, but for the fact that she has made her money and she's good to go, that people didn't really talk about it.
Actually,
but it was just a random girl that was just,
it should have been a different thing.
And say, why are you taking pictures
the
like this?
The fact that she's already in the public figure, and like they already expect her, like, oh, your mom is already a celebrity, on
so you're supposed to give us genge too.
You're supposed to like keep up to the tax of, this is it. But another thing now is that her age, she's quite young, but she has seen money and she has made a lot of money, so she's like an adult, and trust me, she's actually an adult.
Of course, she's an adult.
Anyone like above 18 is like an adult. But now, in like the Nigerian law system and all, but like now, someone's like, imagine it was a poor person. The way your mom will cane you from outside,
they will drag you.
They will cane you. They will drag you. Your uncles and everybody will beat you.
It's another family meeting on your matter.
And the thing is, these are two different classes. You know, when you are from the poor background and then you're from the rich background. So for the poor background, there's this exposure it's already give to you. Like you've been exposed, there are some things you've been exposed to already to an extent, and then there are restrictions to what your parents are going to do to you. So, and that's why it's like this for them.
Okay.
Now for the poor people, come on. Hey, you know what? You know when your mother will. Now it doesn't have to be your mother. Neighbors around are already like,
see.
Now you they allow your pikin they go. Do you understand? And then they will.
I saw
tag
your child on social media.
See,
Or that auntie or that uncle. What's your pikin wear?
The neighbors will drag you before even you with the mama. You know,
I see. Do you understand? They'll be like they don't even get shame again and all.
Yeah. Because those positions you're like
But you guys, what do you think is the right thing? What do you guys think is the right thing?
Well, it's her life and it's social media and like we're in like in 21st century.
The Gen Z.
It's actually not the right move. I think if you're dating, we'll just post the pictures, whatever. But like people are like, oh, because she's a celebrity and she's already out there. Everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to talk about
the age or
the outfit she's wearing and everything. Like they just want to talk because she's a public figure.
But for me, I'll say. You go for what you know is fine for you. But then again,
posting her man like that on social media is actually okay for her.
Let's not forget the fact that she was not even the one who posted it in the first place.
He was the one,
and
there was no comments. There was no comment actually.
She was the one. It was a man who posted it.
As I was saying earlier on, the thing is, when you know this is good, do what you know is good. But when you know this is not good, it's going to cost.
What's our own definition of what is good and what is not good?
Now, like you're talking about the outfit, you asked that question. What do you think about what she wore?
I think no. She was in a pool setting fit.
Of course, so that outfit was appropriate for the pool.
No, that's what I'm saying.
If you are going about the positions, but come on, it's her man.
Okay, I'm a man.
She's making it obvious that this is my man.
She's marking her territory.
God bless you. I can be in any position I want to be because he's my man. And she's making it out to the public like, oh, he's my man. So whatever you guys want to think, it's your business because he's my man. So whatever position I want to be on him, he's my man. So she's pushing it out there that he's mine.
Let's not forget the fact that even if she isn't a celebrity, don't let us have double standards. People that are not even posting their own online, do you know what they are doing online?
Exactly.
Actually, for the fact that she posted it doesn't mean that you that are commenting you are any better or safe or anything. It's not like she's underaged or anything. She can actually get married right now.
Actually.
Of course, she can.
What I'm going to say,
you're not saying it because she is a public figure. It's not easy to be a celebrity. On a more serious note, we just scrutinize their lives and everything.
So what I'm going to say is, apparently in the world generally, when you do good, people will still talk. When you do bad, people will still talk. So you apparently can't please people. And one of the things I always say is never run down to that point where why you are down is because of what people said or people are saying. Now do not get depressed for anybody. Like nobody should push you, nobody should say things. Now know what you want. It's another thing for you to know what you want. Like, this is me, I know what I want and I like it and then I'm going for it, than you being pressurized by what people are going to say. No, don't do that. No, it's not healthy.
Now, speaking about this, people will always talk whenever, whatever you're saying, whatever like you do and all, Nigerians will always talk. Now, Priscilla is like 23, I think 23 or 20, 23 years old. And check well now, if she actually doesn't start looking for a man, if she gets to 27, they will still be the ones to drag her. If you flying abroad and going everywhere, you've not seen somebody, they'll still go and drag her. So Nigeria shall just be on your own and mind your business, please.
I don't think they will mind their business. It's on social media.
I think let's now in the whole celebrity gist now. Our celebrities with their kids now moving around. What does Zlata's kids even say again?
Obviously.
Yeah, bad boys, too much bad boys, too much bad boys. He was just so cute. Too much bad boys, daddy.
But like now, like celebrities that already like have the money and like they give their kids the life that they need and everything. But most of them don't even know like what we do back like in the days or like how Nigeria is. Imagine the little boy say, "Oh, daddy, like."
So much
normal,
on the streets,
how far, with their,
okay. Those guys were looking scary now. They go scare the pikin now.
Exactly your look.
For a 4-year-old,
matters a lot.
For a 4-year-old, trust me, it will be scary.
No, they're scary. I understand.
Agbero said they fear me. Not even talk about the 4-year-old.
That's what I want to say. Now, your appearance too, Kels. There are times that that you feel it's a normal dressing, you might just want to wear the baggy and the boot
times
cut
the
and then the trend.
This one
And
is not
then
even a
people
trend.
see you,
They have
and then
area
people
boys.
see you, and then they're scared
They're
of you.
scared.
Do you understand?
There was a time I was going. This guy was not mad, but
His
he was
outlook,
okay.
his
I think he was just drunk a bit. But see, as he was coming, I crossed road. I don't even have strength. I'll just fly because I cannot stand. I cannot even speak the language. I was saying, okay, what to start arguing? So I just moved. I said, what are you wearing?
Myself, you don't even need to even look a certain kind of way. But when I just see, you know that you just have to always protect yourself.
Obviously.
When I just see maybe like 3 guys just standing anyhow, I will just cross to the other side.
Of course, for you to be safe.
Do you know that?
You cannot be too careful.
No. Do you know that? So some of them, oh God, if you pass them and you don't greet,
Problem.
Exactly. So
fine girl, you're forming too much. So insult you or drag you all these things.
So tell me, why don't you think the little boy will be
We'll
scared?
be scared.
We'll be scared
You know,
now.
okay, so as Ayla said again, upbringing matters too. You know, when you're talking about the Ajebo child,
Yeah,
and then the
like
Ajepako child, do you
poor
get
man pikin.
poor man pikin? So you see those poor men children. See, to an extent, there are things they absorb.
See,
Yes,
there
now,
is
the
reality,
reality- the reality is different.
You understand? There are street kids that they don't like. They
Nothing
grew up in the
scares
street.
them.
Nothing scared them. But when you talk about that child that stays indoor morning till night, like school bus brings him back and he's always
AC to
indoor.
AC, from
like,
AC
do you
to
understand?
AC.
And then when he sees you dressed that way, come on.
like, oh, are
Like,
you okay?
So he's going to run.
If
Obviously.
you do not have a perfect picture of what this old Zlatan song is all about, apparently Zlatan and so they were going out in Lagos. So there are these agberos were trying to like hail
really
Zlatan,
die.
to get money from him, and then the guy was sitting close to the window, and then now these agberos, they touched the windscreen trying to like stop Zlatan to give them money. And the guy was scared. The little guy was scared, and I was like, "Daddy, too much bad boys, too much bad boys." But he trust me. So they posted he posted it on Snap. Yes, Zlatan posted it on Snap, and people commented that no, now that could have been a learning period for the boy.
him,
That Zlatan should have actually educated the boy that okay. Not that like they are bad boys, they're just underprivileged or something and all of that.
And they want daddy to help.
And they want that. And then like all these people that you're calling bad boys are the ones streaming your daddy's song.
Exactly.
So they're the ones listening to your daddy's music and all of that. But let's not lie, let's not steal. The child had every right to be scared because it's unusual. It's not something that he sees every time. It's not something he sees every time.
The fact that they were running to the car,
Exactly.
You know how
It was
much
scary.
celebrities even go through for like fame and everything.
Yes, when
Also, that's why whenever they come out, they just try to cover up. You see them, most girls.
These
You see them
guys,
with
yes.
hijab or
Hijab,
like they're
just
wearing
cover up
those
their
masks.
face.
They don't just want
tainted
to be.
cars, just tainted cars.
They don't want to be known. They don't want anyone begging for money
They
or
don't
something.
they don't even come
It's
out.
just-
They don't even come out on a birthday. Most times they don't come out. You see them, they disguise themselves. They come out most times at night, and they don't even come out with the car they go out with. Like they just want to be hidden.
Private
Do you
and all
understand?
of that.
Bulletproof.
Yeah,
Because
at the end of the
people are
day,
crazy
at
out
the end
there.
of the day, you see them. They most times they get embarrassed or they get disgraced. Like people want to come all around them and all. So that is just it. All right, guys, we quickly go on a short break, but when we return, we'll dive into the other gist for the day. Don't go anywhere right after this break. Welcome back, guys. All right, Vicky, what do you have for us?
Okay, so this is just to chip it in. So on Sunday, another person already broke a Guinness World Record of the world's largest drawing. It's not that person than Fola Davids. Yes, a medical doctor, visual artist, and philanthropist. It was beautiful, and he tagged it. The team of the drawing was unity in diversity. And trust me, it was amazing seeing it. Very amazing. That painting was amazing. The artwork that went into it and everything
was good.
Back to back was amazing.
And it's amazing that it's actually like in Nigerian.
Yes,
The fact
no,
that
I want to say
our
that.
ethnic group, like even if we are different, we have like how many languages we have? Like a lot.
A lot,
Over 250.
You can imagine. different people. We're one country, Jesus. It's a lot already. So the fact that he actually painted everyone, like you see, like the ethnic groups and everything, like south, north, east, and everyone, like it was really beautiful.
Yeah, it's
like a good thing to do.
It just reminded me of the Abbasis period when the
Nigerians
people also came out for this guy. They came out massively for him. We had Peter Obi, we had different celebrities, even the Abbasi herself.
Came out.
She was also at the event. Different celebrities came out for this guy. And it was also bizarre. And someone said at this point, Guinness World Record, can't keep your book because Nigerians, we are going to
right here.
No, Nigerians they para.
Actually, it's so amazing.
We're going to tear that book, not like tear, but it's so beautiful to see that we are actually making conscious efforts.
We're making
to put our name on the world map. That yes, we can achieve things. We are achievers. Very amazing. And then he beat the world record of this particular person in India with 850 square meters. The previous drawing was 629 square meters. He's, I think, 850. I think he wants it to be 1,000 or something. It's just so beautiful to see the artwork that
really,
goes
really thoughtful,
into
like Nigerians are like trying
that are already.
Can you imagine having to bend to like draw for like days? Oh, what? That's a lot of hard work.
I'm super excited that in this time Nigeria is like we are coming out to be different.
Of course.
You know, back then we used to have our forefathers too. They did a lot, actually. And then when we look at this generation, we'll be like, can we even be better than?
Can we offer?
Do you understand?
Do you know that?
But it's amazing that this time, like just this present time, that things are looking like Nigeria is. We are losing the flu already. When you look at the hardship, when you look at everything that is going, people don't even sit down to think again. You know, it's another thing for you to be creative, for you to think and then forgetting what is around you and then being exceptional at your thoughts and then to sketch out that thing.
I'm still going to say this, that Nigerians are exceptional people.
Actually,
they know us all over the world. I don't want to know wherever we go to. We always stand out. True. It's just so painful that our country, the economy, the leadership and everything is just what that's what is like just caging us. Nigerians are exceptional.
For real.
Not just talking about the Fola Davidson or the Kukachon or whatever the world records. Like internationally, we are. Is it entertainment? Is it music? Is it in the medical line? We are really good. Is it finance?
Really good, yeah.
Like we are everywhere.
We are good.
It's just, I just hope that there comes a time that we can just all stay back in our country and all this goodness, all these human resources, all this intellect can just be put down. You see, people are making waves in this country.
Do you even know that?
Making great waves, but Nigeria, not just Nigeria, just the Nigeria.
But honestly, what I want to say now is, do you know that the Agbero we have on streets, those guys we have in the streets now,
they also form
those
Nigeria
guys
for you
no,
too.
I'm telling you, but do you know that those guys, there's this unique thing about them that they were not able to discover on time, that I'm very sure that if not because it's late now with what they've got themselves engaged in, they might not want to now come down and sit down and then be good at what they are doing. Do you understand? There is a talent in them already that I'm very sure that
Nigerians are literally
I'm very sure that if they had that time, like to invest it, they wouldn't have been in the streets. Like, we wouldn't have more of insecurity we're having in the country, like because they are not working now. People are actually out there engaging themselves in things that are actually is affecting we already, like affecting their fellow brothers and sisters. We have lots of people into robbery, lots of people like they are ready into scamming. They are ready to get the gun and go into the streets.
Do you even know the artwork that ever goes into scamming? I'm not endorsing scamming. Obviously, it's a bad thing. It is wrong, unlawful. Do you know the artwork that goes into scamming?
Obviously,
the brain work that goes into scamming. And they are doing it.
They are smart.
I'm like intellect
that we have.
In the country, just not channeling it the right way.
Imagine you use those kind of like skills and ideas or techniques to actually investigate or catch all these top high criminals.
Do better things.
It's really beautiful. So there was something about Nurse Mira.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, please.
The Ons Game Show.
I'm telling you.
Oh no, that show is actually.
Oh my goodness, that show started like a while back. Wasn't it like last year or
early last year?
And apparently the on-game show by Nonce Mirage was meant to be a love, like where you come and find love, a dating show. You know, come, you pop the balloon. If you like the guy, you keep your balloon. If you don't like, but apparently, let's talk about this thing. This is already turning toxic. Because let's be very honest, I don't think it's a game show. It's a love show again. Because now it's battle of the most wealthy. It's more of you cannot afford my watch. My watch will buy you. What is your net worth? You are screaming cheap. You are screaming poor, broke. You know, broke shame the guys, body shame the girls. What is going on? It's not meant to be a love game show. We're not finding love again. See, the buzz goes on that show. Oh no, it's a lot.
The buzz goes from this show. It's even from both ends. So, for example, imagine now, come on, you that have, you had like some kind of hope to like, maybe I'll see a guy I'm crushing on or like find love and all. And you walk into a room and the first thing they are judging from your appearance. They're like, oh, your hair, your dress, your glasses, everything, your hair is this. And they're like 10 men. And they have to see, they've never met you, like character-wise or anything. They have to literally just look at you and like, oh, pop the balloon. Like, imagine someone judging you for just how you look. But come on, your look actually says everything about you. But like, imagine someone just judging you from just your look and popping the balloon and say, oh, you said... Before you would never have the mind to even say, oh, defend yourself. You just be discouraged.
For a guy, just enter a room and like 7 of them pop their balloon. Like at the same time, you like to be broken.
After you being broken, like you know when you lose your self-esteem.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! Like at that point, you are not. At that point,
but let's come from this point.
Wait, let it be now. These are not your fellow girls even doing this to you. These are guys.
Like the other gender is crazy.
But let's look at it from this angle. That I have noticed a particular trend on that show. Once you get rejected, you know, the other parties, some of them get really aggressive and they start insulting. Oh, you're not my type. Oh, your shoe is cheap. Your this is that. Sometimes some guys do that. Some ladies do that as well. So when did we come to this point in our lives that we are all about material possessions? Yes, that you're cheap. Look at your wig. Look at your show. That we are, like you said earlier, you don't even get to interact with this person. You don't even get to meet this person. I am not saying that you should go out looking unkempt or whatever, but there are some people they look good, and they don't like. You might not like that person, but why would you just go?
There are actually some that actually still.
It's toxic.
There's a situation of now. So in the space of both genders trying to be defensive, the girls are defending themselves, the guys are defending themselves, because see, a man, if you don't have money, they will drag you, and girls are like, see, they are ready. As you're ready for them, they're ready for you too. So there was an episode now that the girl came in, and you know this your hair. We know. In fact, me and this girl know that this your hair is not up to 100K.
You start lying again.
But you like, I got this for 250. Guys,
1.5 million.
Whoa, you're living a fake life. You're already lying.
You're lying.
You random Jane. You can just wear. What's so bad? They say, oh, I got the Jane for 6,000. Oh, I got the Jane for 10K. We did drag you.
Let's come to this. You have some ladies lie.
Oh my God.
I think the guys don't really lie about their stuff. I mean, some guys lie about their personal.
When they lie so much, when it comes to
they lie, oh, my dress is this amount, my is $20, other from Shein, other from that, blah 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 blah, and all of that. But why?
But you know, when it comes to lying, trust our agenda. I know, guys.
Speak for yourself, though.
See, no, guys.
Oh my
when
God.
it comes to playing along with some classes, when you know that good and fine, like in your church mind, you know deep down in your heart that you are not up to that class, and then is it not better for you to just maintain the class you know you are?
But I have something to say to you,
because when you are going there and then you are matching up
some of these insults,
and then you're trying to match up, and then you are in that class.
See, it's a hunt game. See, I didn't have a problem with her. She's doing a good job. My own is that if you're going there, just be real.
Be real.
If you want to be real, be real.
I don't think you.
And another thing now should be the guys.
Enough, because if you are being real, they'll
No.
drag you.
Some of them that go there.
No.
There are lots of girls.
Yeah, guys that go there.
Let's talk about Egungun.
See that they drag.
Okay.
On
Please
that
come
particular
from
show,
there.
Egungun's own is a different one.
But
That's freaky, baby.
Yes.
But this particular non's mirage,
Dragging.
if you come there being real, they will still drag you. Haven't you noticed that?
Regardless,
But I know,
let's
but
just
what I'm
Just
trying
say
to
you are
say is,
screaming cheap.
let's just say
even regardless of the fact that they will still drag you, what me I'm trying to say,
you still have value. You still have a lot.
you still have your value. Now it's just in that place. It's just in the
course.
four corners of that place.
Wait.
You are being bullied and being
Oh my
pulled out
God.
that way. Now,
Now.
being real personally to you, like being real in your normal real life. Come on, it's good to be real, like so that
Just
you
be
won't
true
get
to yourself.
Be true to yourself.
I
You won't
think-
get depressed.
I think
come on.
now in the act of being real, just I feel see education is underrated or whatever. Education is very, very good. See, being illiterate can save you from like so many things.
whole lot,
Now
actually.
there's a girl now on this particular episode. She said her hair was 400k, no 500,000. Maybe we know that it's not even up to. She mentioned everything she was wearing was almost like 2 point something million. Then I asked her, okay, fine, your shades. She said they are Katia.
Katia. Spell Katia.
Good.
Hey.
She now said, oh, Katia. The guy now said, oh, he just spelled Katia. She now said,
That was dumbfounded.
Okay.
Katir. Well done. Well done. In fact, you literally set up
get-
yourself
Yeah,
for
telling you.
embarrassment.
2.6.
Ah,
I'm telling
even
you.
if we know
That
we
was a
can
setup
afford the
for
year
herself.
too, you understand? But at least the spelling. Then the Gucci bag. You said the Gucci bag is God. have
Everything,
mercy.
if you want to,
They are sure the ones
flaunt,
bringing things on
have
top of
brain.
themselves.
Use your brain.
Just be real.
Just be
Nobody will
real.
drag you.
Nobody will
What's
drag you.
bad in saying, "Oh, I got this bag from like a random store"?
I'm even saying
And
this. I'm even
it's
saying
Gucci,
this, that
but it
why are
may
we
not be
trying
Gucci.
to start living a life that we cannot keep up.
We cannot keep up.
Okay, you go on there
For
to
no
lie.
reason.
You go on there to lie, and there might probably be a guy
With your
that you can
be
end up
dragging.
being together. So, because why are you going on a show that you know, oh, you want to go and find love, but at the end of the day, you fight all of the guys there. So why didn't you just stay in your house? Like some people come to that show with, oh, I'm coming here to fight. You give me bass, I give you bows. So just stay back home. Don't go and
And
stress
some boys don't have
yourself.
shame. Some boys don't have shame.
They will shame you.
They will drag you and
Obviously.
drag you for like life.
Oh my goodness.
All right, guys, this is all we can take on today's episode. And I know that every time you see us on set, we are not just gisting, but we are telling you, we are saying things that are real, they are real rather. And these are things that we should learn from, because in our daily life, we just have this playing out every day. So guys, this is all we can take on today's show. Yes. See you next time on our next episode.
Bye.
Hello guys, it's another beautiful day to be alive and welcome to another thrilling episode of your favorite entertainment program, E360. Now, like you know, it's a program that touches various aspects of entertainment ranging from food, dance, and the likes, just how you like it. And I remain your host, Chidi, treating you with exciting topics and guests all the way. Today we'll be talking fashion, very interesting one. Let's take a breather, we'll be back.
Emmanuel Ebright is the founder and coordinator of the Afrofusion Project, an inclusive art, fashion, and culture brand established to promote and integrate African heritage with global possibilities. The Nigerian-born cross-cultural creator, through his simple yet unique and dynamically inclusive pieces, inspires and advances borderless ideals and messages that bridge cultural divides, deepen identity, and promote self-awareness. He is also the mind behind Imagination, Clothium, and Uniform Us, The award-winning creators' designs have been donned by multinational brands like Roll Trail International, MTN, Change.org, Acumen West Africa, Phytoscience, GT Bank, Platforms Africa, Signal Alliance, and Reader, just to mention a few. He has also received accolades from projects like Runway in the Slum, Third Mainland Motherland, and Fashion Feeds Children. Emmanuel is among a new crop of Africans who, in the words of the United States Institute of Peace, are increasingly using the arts to reimagine their world and reclaim public space to reflect on what a more peaceful and prosperous Africa could look like. He is a recipient of the Award for Creativity from Ahmadu Bello University's Business School, Zaria, in Nigeria. He is also a proud winner of the Versidad tournament, which held in the United Arab Emirates.
Well, now you can see that we have with us in the studio a very, very, very important personality. I'm excited to introduce to you Emmanuel E. Bright, the founder and coordinator of the Afrofusion Project. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm really
excited to be here.
It's my pleasure.
Really
it's my
excited
pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So like every story has a beginning, right? So would like to know what's the story behind the Afrofusion Project.
The Afrofusion Project has come a very long way. You know, I don't want to be like artists when you say, when they start music, say started in my mother's stomach and all those stuff. But mine has been long coming. I still recall clearly when I was in my about 8, 9, 10 years old, my dad or my mom would take clothes to the tailor to make clothes for us. And consistently, when they take me back, they take me to make the measurements. When they are done with the measurements, I'll go back behind their back. I'll go and change the design with the tailor. Consistently, right? My mom will get some fabric after sewing her wrapper. I'm sure they did it for some people. And then when we're done, give a little piece. I always had my idea of what it could be. So it was consistent. And by the time I got to university, if I had an option, now that I know better, maybe I would have studied fashion, design and all those stuff. But I studied business. But again, everything works together for one's good because the business aspect has quite helped me. And by the time I left school, the idea was simply to go and do some internship, you know, go learn with some fashion designer. Back then it was the Dakovas of this world and the likes. But then again, the economic reality hits. I had to make money. But I knew someday I was going to come back. So we are here.
All right. That's an interesting one, very interesting one. Yeah. So I'd like to also know, you know, what is your creative fashion style and the inspiration towards your creative designs? My creative style is a reflection of my personality. I don't want to sound selfish, but it's simple, at the same time bold, it's embracing, and it's also approachable. I love to do all those costumish kind of stuff, but then functionality for me is key. Once in a while, we get to do the costume-like stuff, the runway kind of things that shows your versatility in the industry. But then for everyday wear, we try to create what someone can wear and rewear, particularly in this age where people are scared of repeating or like you say on social media, don't repeat clothes. We create something you feel like wearing. And if you don't feel like wearing it, clothes have a way of calling you, come and wear me. So that's simple, approachable, bold, and exciting in its own way. That's basically what I call the Afrofusion style. All right. So, like you said, your creative style it's more like a you thing, a reflection of you.
Yes. So in many ways.
That's very unique. That's very unique.
Yeah.
So, how do you get these fabrics? Do you source them locally, internationally? How do you?
We source internationally. We also get locally. In fact, the ability to source fabric is a skill on its own. For some people, it's a gift. Because 20 fashion designers could go into the market at the same time. In fact, 100. And they'll come up with different things based on their perception of design, based on their understanding of fabric. So to a large extent, we get fabric sourced in Nigeria. But also when we need to source internationally, we don't delay. Because some clients are very particular about the kind of fabric they want and how they want their collections to go.
Okay, so let's talk about fabrics, because you said something that is really, really very interesting. You said sourcing your fabric is a skill in itself. So let's talk about that skill.
Okay, so when I started in the industry, the idea was go to the market, or suppliers as you would. In fact, some suppliers get it to you. And so you'd have to go check, look at it. But when I spent 1-2 industry, I had to change the term for myself and the people who work within my team. I call it fabric hunting. It's like going with a gun to the market to make sure you get the best of the fabric. It's when I got into industry that I realized that you can, so for example, I'll give an example. There are fabrics that if you buy, they look like they won't, let me use the term, wash. But when you soak them in detergent and water, they still look normal. Yeah? But guess what? When you put them to dry in the sun, the color starts moving.
Fading.
But let me even take further. Some will still look good when you put them on the line to dry. When you iron them, they change. So it takes consistency and understanding and learning. Because at a glance, some people can tell this fabric will likely behave this way, and it will not. Let me shock you. You can actually taste fabric. Yes.
Okay.
People taste fabric. Now, it looks, it's not your regular, unorthodox. Yeah. But I don't taste fabric. Okay. But I saw someone one particular time put fabric in his mouth, like, say you can actually feel it. I won't dispute it, but there are so many ways you can get to. It's a skill. It's a skill. And if you just jump into the industry and just look at a fabric on face value, it looks lovely and all those stuff. You could do a great job, and after spending so much money and producing a garment of, say, 200,000, the person tells you, sorry, it messed up, and then you can't deny the fact because the facts are there. Aside the fact that people say sometimes, we hear it, is because you didn't use the detergent, you didn't do it. Yeah. Some fabric passed every test. And of course, those ones, they're either scarce or they're expensive.
Okay. So let's come down to you,
Yeah.
your apparels, the kind of apparels you do.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think, first of all, you would like bring us into your kind? I know you've said something about it, but like I see what you're putting on now.
Yes.
The Afrofusion.
Yeah.
I can see a blend of Africanism and
Yeah.
How do I put it? You can be. It's global. I don't know how to put it, but I know you understand what I mean. But I want to give you the honors to explain your style. Like what you're putting on now.
Okay. Maybe let's talk a little bit about the history of these patterns.
All right.
These patterns have been, let me just say, Africans kind of colonized this pattern. These patterns originally were not from Africa, right? It was made by a Dutch company, a Netherlands company, and they tried it in Indonesia. It wasn't doing so well, so they moved it to the coastal countries of Africa and it started selling. Since then, it started, making lots of mark. And of course, even though it goes by different names, we still call it regular Ankara. And then, of course, several companies, both foreign and local, started making that. But the fact that it has become identity is a big plus, right? For me, it's an era where Africans are excited to be Africans. We've gone past those age where people traveled abroad and they want to hide their identity. People go abroad and they shout their identity to the world because somewhat we are the fore of what is happening right now. And like I was telling a friend, the critical factors for this are not too far away. I mean, if you have the likes of, I say Afrobeats. Afrobeats is one of the biggest influence when it comes to this fabric. Though some of our Afrobeat stars don't wear it a lot, but if you go down the history of Afrobeats, you talk about the likes of Fela, who necessarily not wear Ankara, but he wore things that were African, right? And then it seemed that he had been forgotten. When there was a resurgence, when there was a look back at his music, and he became big, and he had Fela Broadway with the stories of him marrying Mary women, and then of course the global people took notice. At that time, Afrobeat itself was making a breakthrough into the industry, and then boom, there was a huge explosion. Now people did not only want to see the African artists, they wanted to know about Africa, and particularly the country that they came from. And then with the migration, with Jackpa, as they were called, that was another boost. So there are several factors that have led to that. Now, the fabric that was once an exclusive preserve, I would say, of the low-end society, because back then we were doing lace, doing all those big. All of a sudden, no party is complete without Ankara, right? And everybody wears it. It now depends on how you stamp your identity by virtue of style. So for us, it could be something else tomorrow, something else African, but as it stands, this is our fore product, using Ankara and blending with some Western fabric, in many cases, to create something unique, and why we call it Afrofusion, a fusion or a hybrid of both African and something Western.
All right. So, well, that's interesting because I really buy into the idea. I like to look funky and not forget my history.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
exactly.
I buy into that idea.
Modern, still deep in your roots.
In your roots. Okay. So, how well do you think our designs do globally? Can we stand with the likes of the Gucci's, the Louis Vuittons, and
the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci's, they have a history.
Okay.
They didn't just pop from somewhere, right? And then when it comes to the idea of clothes, telling stories, you sell your stories. Okay. People have their tradition, they have their ancestries, they have their history, of course, and they will build on that. But when you make a case, right, for your fabric and your style, you begin to get noticed. And even though we cannot stand on the same pedestal like the likes of the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton, we are doing very well. And I confidently say, just give us a little time, we'll be there. There was a huge, like, not noise. There was something huge, some positive commotion when Beyonce wore Ankara. The whole world took, I was online with the bulk of the time because I tried to find out trends and all those stuff. Nearly all the blogs carried it. Beyonce wore Ankara, people talked about it. She wore different shades to it and all those stuff. And guess what? It was a Nigerian that designed it. What would you say if I say, I don't want to mention the star, that a core Nigerian is at the heart of the design of his design team? I'm not giving away, of his design team. So it's a big deal. We may not compare with the likes of Gucci, but gradually, if we begin to sell this concept, this idea to them, then they begin to buy into it. And before time, you never can tell what the next collection will look like.
Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, in case you're just joining us, with me in the studio is Emmanuel E. Bright. He's the founder and coordinator of the Afrofusion project, and we've been discussing the dynamics of his fashion. Now, you said a lot, and like I said, I really buy into the Afrofusion project because personally, I like the blend of the prints and the African, and the Western design. So, in your opinion, I'd like to ask that what are the most critical aspects of the fashion industry?
In broad terms, we'll be discussing a lot of stuff. If we were to bring it down to the average Nigerian, it would be slightly different. Okay. But because we're talking globalization, you're talking global, at the same time you're bringing it within the confines of your locality, or within your locality you are still looking at the global. I'll touch on some pretty points that are critical factors and which every fashion designer or someone who looks to go into industry should look at. Because it's beyond I can sew, I can design. There are people that can design way better than some of the best known designers, but yet they are known. Actually, they are poor. In fact, from my experience, some of them cannot do 2 square meals. So some have had to close their shops and actually go to start working with someone else for near peanuts. You'd be lucky to have a fashion entrepreneur, a fashionpreneur who would say, okay, you're good enough. I'll be able to give you $500,000 a month or 3, which is actually worth, because some clothes are as good as 2 million for one, some 500,000, but for near peanuts, they give you accommodation and all those stuff. So this, in order for you not to close down your fashion business quickly, in order for you to grow in the fashion business, here are some critical factors that I think you should look at. I was looking at the other time quickly. I think one of the ways to look at, you can't run away from sustainability. The days of just use any fabric and sew is beginning to disappear. It can work for a local environment, but the more environmental friendly or conscious we become, the more we have to talk about the issue of sustainability. People want eco-friendly materials. People want recyclable materials. People want to think about the working conditions of people that work for you, right? To know that they are not earning peanuts while you are selling millions. Those are things you look at. Because at the end of it, we're not just talking about clothes. Every cloth tells a story. If you watch the House of Gucci, tell you the story of how the cows, how they are fed. People want to go down to history. They want to find out, if I'm wearing this particular dress in London, who made it? How was it made? Does my conscience allow me to wear it? right? Is it recyclable? At the end of the day, with the material, when I send it, will it end up in Africa? And from Africa, will it block all the drainages and all those? So these are issues to look at. The average African will say, I beg, give me cloth, let me wear. But then let me talk about something that cuts across, whether you're local or global, is technology. Okay. You can't do, I mean, I could sit down there when you're looking at me, I was on my tab. Yeah, I'm designing. You call me, you want a design. I don't have to go use pencil and start drawing because there are softwares that can give you 3D versions, right? I send it to you, you give me a go ahead, I check my e-catalog, send you the fabric, you give it to me. At the end of the day, I produce a receipt, or an invoice from my phone or my tab, and I send it to you. Deal concluded, you transfer. So you can't run away from technology. It's very, very key. So even with the customers, how to attract your customers, we're in the era of analytics. You know, how to analyze what kind of customers want your goods in Lekki, in Lagos, in Ghana, Accra. Where do you sell the most? These are things that one should look at. And of course, you can't talk about technology without talking about NFT, things like NFT. It looks far-fetched. But remember, once, a long time ago, when we talked about AI, not even too long ago, we felt AI was too far-fetched. But guess what? AI is here.
It's everywhere.
So NFT looks far-fetched too, but give it time. These are things people should begin to study. And of course, you have building relationships. You can't go far without building relationships. That's why I say don't run away from industry. Each time I hear there's a fair happening here, each time I hear there's a meeting, I want to go there. I want to be on, I want to connect, I want to network with people. Sometimes it's not people who are doing what I'm doing, but people who seek to do what I do, but don't have the time. Partnership goes a long way. I'd rather have, like someone said, I'd rather have 50% of 100 million than have 100% of 2 million, right? So these are things to do. Of course, clearly, brand identity. You can't run it from brand identity. Too many tailors. The number of tailors in Nigeria, they're not enough. We need more. But guess what? You have to be distinctive. You have to distinguish yourself. That calls for brand identity. How do we find you in the midst of all the tailors? How do you create the same looking product with the same fabric? Yet one will be, while someone else's own is priced for 20,000 naira, yours is priced for 500,000. Why? Because you've built a brand over time. Something memorable, something people can relate with, some people are proud to wear. In case, not just building marketers for yourself, but creating a group or a team of brand evangelists who are excited about your products and able to introduce it to other people.
All right. I like the brand of evangelists.
Yes.
You go out and speak the words.
Yes.
All right. So I'd like to ask, with what you said, what outfit sells the most? Is it with the men, children, women? No, that's one debate. You know, people are like, is it the men, the women, who wear?
Okay, so let's be more practical about what I said.
All right.
If you use analytics,
okay,
and one factor says you have over 70% or near 70% of population in Nigeria are youths, that should give you an idea, right? And that population tells you that children are a significant percentage of that. That's key. But then again, you have this demography that you cannot ignore when it comes to fashion. They've been there since time immemorial. I guess when Adam wore just something across his his private and all those stuff, Eve must have done like 3 sashes and all those stuff in animal skin. So clearly, women are in the lead, right? And then of course, you can't take away children. Men are doing well. We're doing it for ourselves. We are closely following. Give us time. The idea is if you give us reason to wear, we would wear. So we are creating more reasons for men to look good, right? And not just go about trying to earn for the family, because we deserve to look good.
Sure.
Yes,
we do.
yes,
Sure,
yes.
we do. All right.
Yeah.
So finally, we'll do something else, right? Briefly, but I want to ask this one question. So what should we, be expecting from you?
Oh, wow. Okay, so in simple words, African heritage, global possibilities. We want to tell the story of Africa using fashion, using arts, using lifestyle, basically. So what to expect from us? Expect more exciting, simple, yet bold, embracing, approachable designs from us. We'll keep it in such a way that you can pick our products from any. I mean, if you had 20 fashion designers, you'll be able to pick a product and say, hey, this looks like what Afrofusion project does. That's basically what. So runways, we'll hit the runways, New York. I mean, we're dreaming,
big things.
But we've dreamt like this in the past, and the things we dreamt about have become. So those are things to look forward to. It's not just clothes we make.
Okay.
I wish I bought a blend of leather and Ankara,
Oh.
or blend of Ankara and Ashoki, right? Or blend of leather and raffia from Ikotekbene, right? So we're trying to promote everything Nigerian. We're trying to promote everything African. So the product is just the starting point.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, that's nice. Viewers out there, just we're going on a short break. Just sip some water, take a juice. Don't go far. We'll be right back. So welcome back, welcome back. Hope the juice or the water you took is refreshing enough, because you will be loaded. You'll be loaded. So right, Emmanuel Ebright is a man of many things, and you have projects off your sleeves, things you're doing. I want you to tell us about these projects.
Okay.
You're doing.
With exciting projects, we believe as a brand we should give back. So corporate social responsibility is not just a phrase. It's something we try to practicalize as much as possible. I recall when we did Third Mainland Motherland, the idea was to try to push the gospel of clothing, right? To get children to aspire to see that they could become models, not just role models, right? They could also become models. And then when we went there with the crew, but Third Mainland Bridge, just about that Makoko side, you need to see children gather with bicycles. We've got pictures and all that. But beyond that, I don't know about you, but I know what it feels like not to eat for 3 days. In a quest to move out of the confines of my mother's home, my parents' home, to seek what we now have as a growing graduate, I had to go stay in the north. And I couldn't eat, but I knew this dream had to come true. So staying and when I mean 3 days, and it's not, when you're fasting, it's different from when you're,
when there's
exactly.
No
so 3 days and all those stuff. So when people tell me, your fashion feeds the children program, you're not feeding 3 square meals. I said, sometimes what you need is a meal that will give you hope to know that if this one came, another one could come. So we started out with a project in Makoko. We took volunteers and we fed the children, and also use the opportunity to educate them about life and tell them to go back to school, part of the SDG goals, to encourage education and all those stuff. And while we were doing that, it was so successful that we had to do part in Cross River State, 2 local governments in Cross River State. And then while we still did that, we did another location in Kaduna. All of them, came out beautifully. We gave those children what some of them may not ordinarily eat every day. Children in disadvantaged communities. So you'd had your rice and stew, and you had Lucozade, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce bomb. You had your boost to drink. Okay. You had just all those things. And then, of course, it's not just feeding their stomach, it's feeding their minds and telling the stories. This is who I was. This is who I am now. If I can do it, you can do it. And with time, we're hoping we can break into other states and other African countries. And the idea is to actually have our own food bank, where people can reach out to us. So with part of the profits, part of the proceeds we make from our business, Afrofusion Project, we can take a point and say, look, let's give to these children. If we can give these children, they can eat and there's hope, they might reduce the incidences of will be robbers tomorrow. We can reduce the incidences of, I want to commit suicide. So these are part of the things we do. And it's all encased in the push for the millennial sustainable goals, okay? And for us, we just picked the aspect of education, and then, of course, trying to sort on hunger in our own way.
All right, that's a big and a good one. Yeah, and God will definitely reward you.
I say a big amen.
Amen.
A big amen.
Amen. So, in our usual style, E360, we play a game. Now, it's nothing too serious.
You should have given me.
It's nothing too serious.
I don't like games.
I'll just say I'll just ask you a question. I'll just ask you questions. 10 questions.
Okay.
Punch. You just give me answers.
Okay.
All right.
Punch.
Yeah, but just.
All right. Okay, I'll try my best. Try my best.
All right.
So this way I wear my glasses so that I can see the questions properly.
All right. So.
Time. Okay.
60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Yeah, in 60 seconds.
Okay.
So your time starts now.
Okay.
All right. What's your full name?
Emmanuel F. Young Bright.
Favorite celebrity couple?
Joker Silva and her husband.
All right. Most outstanding day of your life?
I don't know the day I was born. I mean, I'm not aware of the day I was born, but outstanding day. The day I gave my life to Christ.
Oh, interesting. All right. Your favorite football club?
I don't do international clubs.
Okay.
Aqua United.
That's patriotism.
Aqua United.
All right. So, what won't you be caught doing?
Stealing.
All right. Your favorite relaxation sports?
I'm tempted to say my toilet, but I won't say that because my bed. I love my bed.
Okay.
I love my bed.
All right. Novels or movies?
Movies.
Movies. All right. Favorite indoor sports?
Favorite indoor sports. Is reading a sport or studying?
I won't call that.
Football.
Football.
I play football indoor with my children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but anyone that breaks the TV gets to pay.
All right. All right. Favorite food?
Edika Icon. Made specially by my wife.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So finally, give me 2 things off your bucket list.
My bucket list. Off, that I've ticked off.
No, you would.
Skydiving. And skydiving and what else? What else I want to do? I want to hit Hawaii. And sunbath. Am I allowed to do what naked? Okay, I've already used it.
You've already used it.
They're very, very private.
Very private.
Just one in nature. I have a feeling that there's some kind of inspiration. I just might come up with a chat-breaking collection from just being myself in the open. Just between me, my God, and nature.
All right, fine. Skydiving. Are you sure madam would allow you skydive?
If I tell my wife I want to do skydiving, she'll tell me to sign up some jobs, get her some houses, and then sure. But I really want to try. I want to try it. Perspective is key. I want to see what it feels like up there. When I come back, well, I'll ask her. I don't want trouble.
Okay. All right. It's been nice having you.
Nice having you.
And
thank you.
We have come to the end of this episode. I told you it's going to be an interesting one. I told you. So until next time, stay jiggy.
Again to your favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me in the studio Comrade Razak Kolade Olokoba, popularly called RKO. Comrade Olokoba, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yes, today, like we all know, The Conversation is a topical issue program that looks at current developments within the polity of Nigeria and beyond. And this morning, top of our bill is the local government autonomy that the Supreme Court gave its judgment just last week. That judgment by the Supreme Court has elicited a lot of reactions. While some are applauding it, some are, critiquing it that, is not the way to go. But if you ask me, as a member of the conversation team here, I will tell you for free that I'm home and dry with that ruling. Because I recognize that development takes place majorly at the grassroots. And the local government administration is the closest to the people. And over the years, that tier of government has suffered from bastardization, has suffered from strangulation. And that is why we have a lot of hills bedeviling the country today. So if we give the local government administration the powers as enshrined in the Constitution, I believe strongly that people will start having a feel of what democracy is all about, and it will go a long way in deepening democracy. So for me, the judgment is a victory for democracy, is a victory for Nigerians. But like we always say, democracy is a journey. It is not an end in itself. In this journey, this is one of the benefits we have seen. But there's nothing that is a benefit that cannot become the other way if not properly managed. So the ball is now in the court of we Nigerians to ensure that local government administration live up to the billing by we being the watchdog, whether as civil society actors, whether as the people. So because position of responsibility requires eternal vigilance. The people must at all times hold their leaders accountable. And
I completely agree with all the fears you have raised. I raise fears at times, and the approach to ensuring that that fear did not cause any damage may differ. Our concern for people who are exhibiting restraint on the autonomy of local government, because autonomy of local government comes in different ways. This model is very strange. There's no this kind of model anywhere in the world. America has over 10,000 local government. Canada have. A local government is a component part of a state.
yes.
That's how it goes.
Yes.
And there's nowhere in Nigerian constitution where local government is called the third tier of government.
Absolutely.
There's
I agree
no way.
with- Yes,
So
there's that lacuna.
it's our own creation that they are a third tier of government. Constitution recognizes them. And that's because we established a sharing formula. It's not a structural thing that there's local and state. It's not defined that they are an entity on their own. It's just how do we share these resources that is with us? Then how do we share the responsibility? So we have gone further by assigning the responsibility of the state to federal government now in the disbursement of funds. And that presents a lot of danger. Now, all the things that governors have used the relationship between local government and the state as an abuse is what we have been able to address. There are other complications. The issue of JAC, joint account, is not because the governors wanted to pilfer the government of local government. It was because the state designed that model to compare local government to play their role, areas where they have joint projects. For instance, drainages that cut across a local government, which is a state responsibility.
Yes.
The local government is supposed to complement it by also doing their own. So, but the timetable differs. States will do their own, only for local to do their own 6 months later, when, as a result of that negligence of the local government, it has disrupted the one done by the state. So they said, let's come with a model. Anytime you want to do road, let's put the fund together. Let's do road of state and local simultaneously, so that it will not
a sort of counterpart funding.
Counterpart funding. But the governors abused it. An example of state that must look at critically is Lagos, that has done it very well, has been able to use that model judiciously. But in other states, they took their money, they won't give them chairman, conduct any election, and they will be in control because they appoint caretaker committee. So they determine the kind of fund that will come to them. But because they don't have the mandate of the people, they won't complain.
Yes.
So it's a caretaker committee. So instead of addressing that, what we have been able to do now is to create more crisis for us. And one of the things that we have to quickly look at how we are going to sort it out is a time is going to come when we may not have a Democrat as a president like Tinubu. I know very well that Tinubu will not go.
But you and I know very well that
since 1999, are you saying that you have not had a president in this country?
We've
that has said that this election is going to be do or die of fire. If this had made the model in place that time, imagine what will have happened.
Let
me quickly make this point so that you will be able to understand that I'm being objective, that I'm not just speaking from emotion.
Go ahead.
That's number one thing. And we must not wish it away. That is a danger. A structure that gives people to talk less, and the institution is strong enough that either the people speak or not, to this structure will make you work, is what we should look at. But a structure that requires 90% of shouting and 10% of institutional push, we should not put it on board, and which is what you have designed now.
I disagree.
Because we have a state already, a state government already.
Yes.
What has been the push that states who refuse to recognize minimum wage up to today? What has people in that state been able to do about that? So they accuse on local government chairman and that you are going to be able to supervise them. There's no reflection of it in how you have been able to supervise. How far have you been able to supervise the governors to spend the state fund judiciously? You have not been able to do that too. So I'm coming to other issues. That's number one thing that we have to also, because it's our country. All this concern, let's address it before it comes. That's how we are raising it.
Yeah.
The second thing is that ancestral issues. There are states who have peculiarity. There are local governments all over the world that the election in that area is conducted by the indigenous people and won by indigenous people. With the model in place now, it makes all those peculiarities very, very porous.
Why?
Such that in such a
democracy
way
is about numbers.
In such a way that governors and states understand some of those peculiarities far better than, and they create a buffer around it. State government, they will create a buffer around it. And I can give several examples in elections, even in Lagos here, where it is said that there are certain category of people that you must not put the leadership of local government in their possession. You know what I mean by that?
I understand.
It's predominantly an indigenous thing.
I understand it very well.
So by the time it has to do with the federal government, 774 local government, you might understand peculiarities in the southwest. But in the east, it's difficult. And state governors will have its control. So ancestral issue is not a border concern to you. 13. Resource control. The reason why everybody is asking for state creation, local government creation, is because the federal government in its dictatorial attitude since 1966 to date that's been the definition of our federal government. Collect all the money made by all the states. Either the state contributes money or not, there's a law that you must divide the money into 36. That's what has been inspiring more creation since it was 12 before.
But you and I know
more local. But by the time we have an arrangement where this universal standard of generating fund from below up is put in place, which is now generating fund from up is what we have now. Generating fund from down up to the state is put in place where people design how they will generate their fund and give. Nobody will talk about local government because it's the governors that will design the local government. We have that example in Lagos, where Lagos government design how he's going to spend, how he's going to live his life. So it's been modeled up now.
No,
because when state resource control come, because without resource control, the financial position of this country will always be in shambles. So until we come, by the time we come to that, how will the federal government cope with 7?
I disagree with you on a lot of the submissions you have made.
Okay.
One, this judgment is not about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
No, I've not. I've not even.
Yesterday it was President Buhari in office.
And I've not said it's about.
Yes. Secondly, is that
I only said that he's a Democrat.
Just hold on.
And we are not endangered.
Yeah, no, I don't. You see, I understand.
In the Senate, 4 or 8 we are not endangered. But we may be endangered when someone else who wanted to.
There are processes.
I don't know processes. Wait. When the Ngige was arrested.
What was the outcome?
And that's how it will always be.
But you and I.
But build a system where it will not be abused.
No, there's no system you put in place that human beings will not make efforts to abuse.
Make the possibility lower.
Yes, that's where.
And that's what we are saying. The possibility of abuse make it very, very.
Yes, I agree absolutely with you.
The system now is very porous.
Well, I don't agree on that because why do I say this? Is that the autonomy, the financial autonomy we are talking about. I agree with you absolutely that, don't also forget that the abrogation of the responsibility of states, of a local government, the muzzling of local government, started under the military rule. You remember in those days where local governments could not pay teachers' salaries. And there was crisis at the local level. So the military government under the states then now appropriated those powers. Because of the responsibility of that. And what we are
that's the picture I'm trying to bring back.
And what we are saying here is that irresponsibility we have seen being exhibited, that was exhibited at the local government administration level then, is also not the states or the federal government is not immune from such irresponsibility if people are not putting their eyes on the ball. And that is why I'm saying that no two situations are the same. What people did in maybe 2000 the anomaly, the treasonable felony attempt by even President Obasanjo, you recollect in 2007 when he wanted to smuggle in a third term. It was the resistance of the people.
Yeah.
So our responsibility here in the media is to awaken the people's consciousness. And in awakening the people's consciousness, we must also make them aware that, look, this is a country governed by laws. People have said, oh, some local government could collect their funds and return, and the governor will say, bring it. I said that is not a problem. They were looking at it from the point of view that it could cause friction between the states and the local. I said, a local government, for me, a local government chairman or a president or a governor swears on oath by himself. You cannot swear on oath for me. So whatever I do for an office that I've sworn on oath to do, I'm responsible for it.
So
if
what
I
you
now
are
abdicate my
what you are saying now that the picture you are painted will stop. It will not stop.
No, I'm not saying this is part of the learning process.
Do you know the concern I have with Nigerian elites?
Yes.
And you included.
I'm not okay.
You're an elite.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't
let us personalize it.
I'm an elite too.
Okay.
So
me, I'm a middle class.
An elite is not designed by your financial status. So.
Okay.
What you are doing?
Maybe I need to know the parameters.
What you are doing is one of the features of elite is thinkers for the people.
Yeah.
Go into the depth of what elite is all about.
I agree with you on that.
Design political ideology for the people, design direction for the people, economic direction for the people, who design values direction for the people. So you are one. And is that encourage everybody to have an opinion on expert matters. The model of how a country is run is designed by who they are. It's not whether, that's not my opinion, I don't agree with you. Because if 2 plus 2 is 4, arithmetically, I'm not talking politically or any other for a formula. The formula is 4.
Yeah.
It's only in Nigeria when 2 plus 2 is determined by the opinion of everybody on the table. That no, my own opinion, that's my opinion. When it comes to structural issues, what determines the kind of structure you run is not the opinion of people, it's who you are and the kind of people you are. As been expressed severally that we don't want our life to be run by proxy.
Yes.
That has been expressed in Britain, who do not practice the kind of system practiced in America.
Yeah.
By India, who also distance themselves from the British style. So in Nigeria too, we have said this severally that not explained by man, but by our attitude, that the decision to determine the direction of our life cannot be in the hand of the president of Nigeria.
Absolutely, that's what we are doing now.
And there must be a devolution of power.
Yes, that's what is happening now.
What you have done,
essentially,
is adding to the list of what the federal government will handle.
How?
Because that's what it means.
In what way?
By
saying that states should hands off the responsibilities and finances of local. That's the evolution of powers.
That is the model that is creating crisis for us from beginning to date.
Wow.
From 1960 to 1966.
Yes.
That was when we got it right. Where each state is run based on what the region wants. Each region. Even if it is state or if it is region, because either it is state or it is region. The problem you have is over concentration of power at the center. Even if you run state, if you run region too, because that's the error people are making. If you run regional system too, and you put so much power at the center, it's back to square one.
Of course.
So our focus should be center that is too big. So in this instance also, when there are joint effort, because there's no how federal government will not have joint program when disbursement is taking place. Look at me, oversee it. The federal government will oversee it. They are the one disbursing the fund. The state.
How can you say they are the one disbursing? Does the funds belong? The fund belongs to the federal and the states. It does not belong to federal government.
The fund belongs to federal and the
yes.
And you created a third leg, which is the local government.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, that from the beginning of our argument about the structuring, we have said that federal government has no business with local government. That each state needs to take care of their own resources.
Absolutely, that's exactly. And
that should be our focus.
That's exactly
and that is the reason. The reason why governors have access to their fund is not because they are in control of local fund is because the free fund is coming from Abuja. And demand for local government, demand for more states is because that money is coming from Abuja. So our own focus should be that it is important for us to reverse the trend. Let's bring resources of each state back to their own state. Let each state take control of their own local government. Let each state determine the pace at which they want to move in terms of development.
Yes.
Raise their own resources and run their own state. What we have brought on board now, remember this day, it is not Ashwaju that did this. So we did it on our own. Yoros did not do it. The unity system of government. And we're all blaming him now. In 5 years, 10 years time, we'll come back to this discussion.
Well, Comrade Razak Olokoba, thank you for your submission. Like you all know, this is a matter that we cannot exhaust the discussion.
That's correct.
The discussion still continues.
It's extensive.
Yes, it's extensive. If we want to continue, we'll spend the whole day.
The whole day.
Yes, but you can be rest assured that this is a topic that will come up with another day, and we'll look at it from another perspective. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we want to call it a wrap on the first stanza of the program. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation on TV360, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Yes, welcome back to the second stanza of the program, the conversation, coming to you from TV360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. I still have my name remains Nelson Ekujumi, and I still have with me in the studio Comrade Razak Olokoba. Comrade Olokoba, on this second stanza of the program, we want to quickly look at the menace of fake news. Just about a week or so ago, a national daily reported a Samoa agreement. And we have seen this trend repeatedly, especially coming from the fourth estate of the realm. And for me, a lot of times when you condemn such irresponsibility, people tend to assume that it's an attempt to muzzle freedom to information. And as a media practitioner myself, I tell people that information that I don't have the facts, that I cannot verify, and it's even one of the ethics of the profession.
Yes, you don't circulate it.
You don't circulate it. But we have seen this style, this system, allow people to malign, to misinform, to incite, with the... I believe it's strongly that the intention is to cause disaffection, and a lot of times people just succumb to our traditional way of let it slide. And when you allow it to slide, somebody else will come tomorrow. I remember during the days of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who I had a torrid time on the social media, where people will bring out now ask when you in fact we live in a world today where when you bring out an information, people will not question you.
Some people still believe that Buhari that we have now is someone from Sudan. He's from even educated folks.
Yes,
you see the perception of the definition people generally have about media is that you should bring out bad things about government. Just like the definition, some people concocted definition though. It's a concussion that the definition of parliament is that they should consistently fight the executive.
Yes.
So, and any attempt to try to define it properly. They say no, it's because you are with the government.
They will even go to the extent of telling you that the assembly is a rubber stamp. Is a rubber stamp. Only when they are on the same page.
Go and study the kind of the institution we have in place. When you have an institution in place where the parliament is different from the executive must try as much as possible to make sure that the party that he has is the party that is in leadership.
Yes.
And once you do that, behind the scene, you will have discussed your matters. Everybody you see in the parliament that is opposed to that discussion, more than half of them should be opposition.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be a member of
Members
that
of the
political party.
ruling party.
Because it's strange when you see member of the same political party. It means that they have not done their own work before. And when we tell people that
no, could it be that it might not be that it could be that is a fifth column. Yes.
And the pattern here is that most of the time since 1999 to date, we have a parliament that is also always people by the same political party, both in the executive and the parliament.
Yes.
Because we had turbulent time during Obasanjo's time. Okadigbo, Warem.
And because of the way it was, interfering in the
running of the that was what caused the friction.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and that was just a return to democracy.
Democracy, yes.
Now, we are beginning to stabilize.
Yes.
Now people begin to redesign the role. Oh, so I am supposed to complement the work of the executive because it's the same manifesto.
Even as apart from that,
so the same thing in the media too. The media professionals now assume that maybe because they want to sell their tablet, maybe the word
for populism.
They will now bring us sensational topics. At this critical moment of our life, we don't need any sensational issue. People are angry. The killings in Burundi and Rwanda was packed off by just a radio program, and thousands of lives were lost. So, and that is why I want people that many of you that are pushing this narrative, and the people that first pick your passport are not, me, I'm not going to run to anyone.
You know,
if you are the one that's signing caution, they will say because you are either with the government or you are afraid. I'm not afraid of anything.
No, so, it's not even
so
that.
Your colleague,
yes,
you need to have a platform where you are going to rediscuss the question of ethics. It's important that ethics must not be compromised, no matter the fear you have for public perception that maybe they will think. There's no thinking when it comes to ethics. Ethics.
Yes,
you must not make
you
yourself an available tool
in
the hand of people who want to see Nigeria crack or sink.
Well,
you are not supposed to.
I agree absolutely with you. It's sad that we are in a society today where people don't subject issues to critical reasoning, and that is why we are here, because you expect that any right-thinking person, if any story breaks, the first questions you should ask, what is your source? Just like the 4-way test of the Rotary Club. Is it fair? Will it promote good neighborliness? Will it bring peace? You know, those are questions you should ask. When you see stories that tends to conflagrate a crisis, people should learn to run away from them if they are not sure of the source. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we want to call it a wrap on this edition of The Conversation, coming to you live from TV360 here in Lagos. See, we'll come your way again next time. Please continue to watch The Conversation, coming to you from TV360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. Bye-bye, and have a great day.
Hi, I'm Ayofel Larinde. I'm a visual artist and a photographer, but I major mainly in scribble art, which I see as an art form born out of frustration. My very first scribble painting was done based on frustration. I was at Artist Connect in 2015, where I was challenged to actually do an art piece, and I felt really frustrated because around that time I was just using pencil to work and I was handed a pen to draw. So I just started doing jaga jaga, trying to find something from it, and then along the line I realized I was actually just making sense. I could see a face in the painting I was doing. So I realized that there was something called scribble art later on when I researched on what I'd done at the Artist Connect. Scribble art basically, like I said, is an art form born out of frustration and me wanting to accept myself, me just accepting my flaws, and me also creating sense out of nonsense and using disharmony to actually form harmony. So it's more of like me joining crooked lines together to actually make sense. It's just wobbling lines around to actually form something, to actually arrive at the point. I can remember far back as secondary school in SS1. I was in biology. I was a science student in biology class then. I needed to like make some extra money for pocket money. I was in boarding house then, and I could draw from my textbook. I could imitate things I could see. So my friends used to give me their works, biology assignments to draw skeletons and everything. So like most times whenever we have assignments, I'm the one they come to. So I used to do it, and then I got into trouble. The biology teacher caught me, realized that all the works were looking alike, and then she called me to the staff room. Around that time, the visual arts teacher too was around, so like he saw what was going on and was like, this girl can draw, she can even shade. Okay, she should actually come around to the visual arts class. So I enrolled for the visual art vocational studies then. I was doing science and I was also doing art on the side. So I started developing interest because art to me was just for fun. I didn't really know that I had the gift. I just knew that, okay, I could just draw things, and I realized that most of the times when I draw, it was basically from what I was feeling at that time, or basically because I just wanted to feel good. So yeah, that was basically how I started doing art. Initially, my inspiration basically was only from myself. I was inspired by my own journey through life, but along the line, I started gaining more interest in things around me. I started gaining more interest in history. I gained more interest in my environment. I gained interest in my friends, like their stories, and yeah, governments too. I'm interested in politics, the political aspects of Nigeria and the world as a whole. Achievement. Okay, first off, I think being an artist first is an achievement for me, because people are destined. People are born for greatness, yes, and people have been given different skills. Some people do hairdressing, some people do makeup, some people dance and all of that. But I'm really thankful to God for this gift that I have, which is art. So I see that as an achievement because it consoles me, it fills me up. And then secondly, I was nominated for the Future Awards Africa last year, which was very, very surprising because I was nominated beside the people I see as my bosses. So like being around those people and being the youngest amongst them was quite overwhelming. And then I got some other nominations from Leading Women's Africa. I was 1 out of 100 Leading Women's Africa, most inspiring women in the world. So like that's like the major highlights for like the awards I've won. There's also the one for creativity, most creative students in the whole of Unilag. There's one for most creative students in Africa, and yeah. Weirdly, I actually don't even count the number of artworks, but I have a list which I used to collate them. But I would say in my lifetime, I would say that I've created more than 500 works. I dance. Before I started doing art, I used to dance. Actually, dancing was my first love. I used to dance professionally, but I had to stop because my parents didn't see it as a career as much as also the way they didn't see art as a career. So I had to just stop dancing, but it's something that I still wish to go back. And aside dancing, I also am a photographer. I take pictures. I also do short films. Scribble art is something that I have mastered over time. It's something that I've practiced. Something that I can even do in my sleep, not even exaggerate. So like most times it's really not difficult because I'm the kind of person who sees or who gains inspiration from dreams. So there are sometimes when I'm asleep and then ideas just come and next thing I wake up, I draw. I already know what I want to do. And then there are times when it is actually very difficult, times when my works actually challenge me. I do some particular works and it speaks to me in ways that I can't even explain. So times like that, I give the piece a particular period, say a year, before I go back to it. So there are times when my pieces challenge me, like when I'm doing something very personal. For example, when I had an artwork done for my biological dad, it was really attacking because it just laid down questions that I couldn't answer personally. A scribble artist, my own process is, right, there's no direct path. It's usually in a scribbled form. Scribbled form is meaning it's a jaga form. Because I'm seen as a jaga artist, like I said. They see me as one person that just does nonsense, actually makes sense. So most times I twist and twirl before I actually make a point. Twist and twirl in the sense that I can decide to just get the sketchbook and then from a point I'm doing jargons all over, just doing jargons, not making any sense. And then it gets to a point where I actually realize what I am trying to do, the message I'm trying to pass across, and then I start building on that particular piece. So from that point, I'm already forming an image. I never finish an artwork. I never see it as a finished work. I feel like whenever I create an art piece, there's always going to be a continuation. And most times, it is when people get like buy the works off me that I call it finished because I no longer have it in my possession. But like sometimes I break down pieces into series because I can't finish one on a particular canvas, so I have to continue on another canvas. That is where that's why there's need for collection or series when I'm working. So, for example, my Igbo landing works. This one behind me here, It's actually a series, a 5-in-1 series. Jean-Michel Basquiat actually indirectly influences my style. He's a new expressionist. I also have interest in expressionism. I like his method, and I feel like his approach towards creating has influenced me in so many ways because, like I said earlier, I basically just approach the canvas and I see drawing on the canvas as me learning. I see it as an opportunity to learn. So whenever I draw, whenever I scribble, it's more like I'm actually learning. So that is how it is for Basquiat. So whenever he approaches his canvas, he just basically scribbles paints around. He scribbles paints around, and while doing that, he figures out some things about what he's doing. So I think that's the same thing because I see art as a learning process. So he has impacted me in that form. Although Basquiat is dead, but yeah, I still look up to him a lot. Challenges I faced as an artist. At first it was acceptance. I was really chasing acceptance, and I realized at the point when I started getting accepted, I started losing myself because I wasn't, basically it felt like I was just doing works just to please people, just to please people's satisfactions. And around that time I was doing that because I was doing realism works. I was drawing faces realistically. And then I realized I wanted something more, and in the process I started doing my own thing. I started doing scribble art. So yeah, at first it was acceptance, then there was the financial aspect. I mean, it takes a lot to get art materials, it takes a lot to get a studio. I got the studio late last year with my friend Bayo, which I currently share with. There's also the whole art scene in Nigeria. It's not so encouraging because I feel like they keep recycling old artists or dead artists, and they are actually emerging artists doing so well. I have friends around that practice so well, they practice so hard, the works actually speaks to me and it speaks to a lot of people, and I feel like there should be room for them too, but it's kind of not so easy because there's politics everywhere, there's politics in the art scene. My plans actually change over time because I'm human, I grow, and I realize that sometimes I actually want stuff bigger and sometimes I want stuff a little more subtle, right? So currently I would like to actually have a hub where people like me wouldn't get the opportunity to create, wouldn't get the opportunity to study what they wanted to study, can actually come around and feel at home. People who probably find themselves doing things they really don't want to do can actually come home and meet other people, network, create. So there's going to be an art school, there's going to be a dance school, basically a creative hub where people can come around and learn. So that is like my dream. I would like to own a hub where people can do that, expose new talents, encourage them. And currently I've started doing that little by little with my NGO. It's called Charity with Arts. We go to the streets or we go to orphanages and then we teach kids how to draw. We don't only just feed them or give them clothes, we also teach them, because I feel like once you have a skill, you already have a weapon, or you have your passport to the world, like to travel the world. So basically we just impact that knowledge and get them to practice more.
Well, I didn't know on time because I only knew that she found it difficult to read, and even when she started school, although I thought I was part of the reasons why she could not catch up with her mates, because I was actually I move around a lot. So when I moved, she has to change school. So I was thinking maybe that was the problem. But I actually found out later that even when I got her good teachers, the normal set of school teachers, I found out that she still finds it difficult. She's actually brilliant, very, very brilliant. But when it comes to book, she finds it difficult to read.
My name is Mrs. Uchenna Ahanotu, the director of Nene Special Education Center. I'm an educational psychologist, currently pursuing my doctorate degree in educational psychology from Imo State University. My dream had been always to help students to excel in their academics. So my dream had always been for gifted students. But then I now started coming across children with learning disabilities, and I found out that they were not getting the support they need. So I was helping them in my little way, one-on-one, until it now came to my doorpost. I got reports from the school that my daughter would be repeating class, primary 1. I was like, why? And they said she's not meeting up. This is a girl that is normally intelligent. You know she knows everything, but they said she couldn't read. So as an educational psychologist, I now had to go back to my books because I had packed my books. I went back to my books to study, and now found out that there is something called dyslexia, and not just dyslexia, there were other neurological disorders. There was autism, there was ADHD, there was all those cerebral palsy. All of them are linked together. So that was how I started focusing on children with learning disabilities. I was going from school to help them, but then 2 times a week, 2 hours a day is not enough. It wasn't giving us the results we wanted. So we now had to open the center, and I told the parents, if you want an intensive program for your child, we could enroll him or her here. When she has developed to a certain stage, she can now go back to mainstream school. That was how Learning Center started.
High five. A sound. B sound. C sound.
The thing is, when a child is not performing well in school, and you know you have tried all you can, you've given the necessary intervention, lesson teacher, good books and all that, and she's still performing low, I think it's time to diagnose her. As a psychologist, we diagnose, when a child comes to our center, we diagnose the child first to know the specific area of challenge. And that's why we're able to now diagnose and say this is dyslexia, this is dyscalculia, this is ADHD, this is autism. It can become comorbid with speech delay, whatever it is. So diagnosis is what we do first. When we diagnose, we can now draw up an education plan for the child. All our children have their own education plan, because a child with dyslexia is not at the same pace with another child with dyslexia. So we do one-on-one therapy, we do one-on-one teaching for them, meeting them at their various points of need, and then they come up. So that's basically the strategy, identifying the specific disadvantage and then tackling it individually, not as a class. My staff and I, we go for professional training. We go for courses mainly online.
Okay, this is actually a timer. This is a timer we use for their section. So each section for a child, because of children with autism, most time they are diagnosed with ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So it's difficult for you to treat them in a normal class and take a long time with them. So we time our sections with them. For each section for a child, we have 15 minutes. So I put on my timer for 15 minutes. So I know that at the end of 15 minutes, the child knows he's done. You see them standing up sometimes because they're like, just want to get up and leave. So it helps us to time them and get the best results. Challenges. Well, sometimes I want them to, like, you're teaching the child something, no other child you can easily pick up, but you have to keep consistently going over it day by day and all, and it's like seeing as if you're not getting a result. Or when you're trying to keep kids with ADHD, getting them to sit still while you're teaching them, it's can be very, very tasking. And also, sometimes they just don't want to learn. It's sometimes like that. She has improved a lot compared to what she was then, because she was having low self-esteem, and then, but here they kind of, brought our confidence up. Our confidence level is a lot high, and even if you are not careful, you won't even know that she has that condition again. So I'm actually happy with my experience with Nene Special Center.
Well, it's been quite encouraging. It's been good. It's been a lovely experience. Jaden, my son, couldn't do some things not until he started with the speech school. He couldn't feed himself. He couldn't identify letters. He couldn't identify numbers, but his hearing was perfectly well, and he's still fine. He hears very, very well, but he couldn't identify some things. But right now, he can identify, he can make sounds, and the rest of them. So I'm impressed. Before, she won't even try to pronounce, as in, if the word is difficult, she just jumps it to the next word. But now she's trying to, and then she has improved in her reading. She has improved in her self-esteem. I don't know, psychologically, she has improved.
We started last year, 2022, with the few students I had. So this year, we plan to go more social media and then reach out to schools, primary schools in particular, to inform the headmistresses, the proprietors, that there is a diagnostic center where they can diagnose a child's learning challenge, because most of them are harbored in these schools, but the teachers are confused. They just think maybe the child doesn't want to read. So we want to tell them there's a center where they can diagnose the child's disability, and then we can also help them to tackle the challenge. So our aim is just the proprietors, and then through social media, we reach out to parents that are worried about their child's development.
I want to ask every parent that when you observe that kind of situation with your child, you should seek. Don't just assume, because some secular schools, they don't really look out for these conditions in children. They just assume that the child is poor or the child is dull. They don't have provision for that in most schools. So, and then such child will have low self-esteem, and it will look like they cannot do anything, or they look inferior to their peers.
Clap for yourself, clap for yourself.
As I said, we started exactly May last year. So this is just 1 year, and we have had a total of 12 kids, about 12, 13 kids. And some of them are still on now.
Well, I must say it has been an amazing one. It has really been amazing. I get to meet wonderful kids every day. Yes, I see them and I'm like, God, these kids are just wonderful, because the world might not see them in that way, but meeting them every day has been like a blessing to me. Being able to interact with kids
has been great.
My advice to parents that they should find out and keep a close eye on their child. Try to find out about their disabilities earlier in life so that it will reduce the amount of time that we have to teach them.
Early detection matters. If your child is delaying, just come and find out if it's disorder or delay. We will tell you. If it's delay, we'll just tell you to go. With time, he will talk. But if it's disorder, you have to start immediately to intervene to help the child. Please find a good learning environment for your child. Find a center that understands their challenge and they'll be able to tackle their challenge with the right resources and with the right frame of mind. It's not a flogging issue. They need all the love and care they can get, and they also need the professional touch to get them out of where they are.
Glad to have you here with me on another episode of Startups. I'm Tamilore Akinfolye. Now, in a world where data is becoming the cornerstone of decision making and innovation, Curriculum is leading the charge in harnessing this power to drive progress in Africa. Founded in 2019 by Michael Collins, Curriculum is an AI-driven company providing cutting-edge data analytics software solutions. Today, we dive into the vision, challenges, and groundbreaking solutions of Curriculum and explore how it's transforming businesses and lives across the continent.
Our biggest solution right now that we offer businesses is a solution we call Insights, which is a financial analytics tool that analyzes the financial health of an entity. So it could be a business, it could be a person, and what it does is that we're able to collect data from multiple different sources, for example, bank statement data, credit bureau data if it's available, telco data, etc. And then we analyze that data, we put it into a machine learning process and analyze the data, and it exposes over 80 risk variables that are essential in understanding the financial health of an entity. My name is Michael Collins. I'm the founder and CEO of Curriculum.
Michael Collins, joining from Nigeria to Canada at the age of 19, set the stage for a transformative vision. With a background in working for financial institutions like CIB in Canada, Collins began to contemplate the challenges facing his homeland. These reflections led to him to establish Curriculum in 2019, an AI company dedicated to providing data analytics solutions to organizations.
I was born and raised in Nigeria. I grew up in Surulere, and I moved to Canada back when I was 19. Went to university there, and then worked at a couple of financial institutions there. I worked for CIBC and also BMO Bank of Montreal. And working there, I started to think about, especially back home, and think about the different problems that we have back home and what ways I could help with creating solutions for solving a lot of our problems back home. So, so back in 2019, I founded Curriculum, and this year will be our 5th year in operation. And yeah, so we started out as an AI company, AI ML company, where we provide data analytics software solutions to organizations in underserved markets.
As the youngest continent globally, Africa's youthful population is a catalyst for change and innovation, and according to Collins, with the right tools and knowledge, we could move forward as a country and as a people.
Africa is the youngest continent in the world, right? So when you start looking at all that stuff and you look at the potential that we have, like not just in a natural resource standpoint, but also in a human resource standpoint, you start to realize, okay, there's a lot that we have here, and if we have the right tools, the right knowledge, we could begin to move forward as a country, as a people. So that was the big motivator for me. So Africa is the youngest continent in the world. Like if you look at, and this is not me saying that, this is from the New York Times. They say the average age of Africans is 19. You compare that with the average age of Canadians, which is between 40 to 49. Same with Western Europe. The average age of Americans is between 30 to 39. So we're talking very, very old countries and continents. So compare that to what we have here in Africa, where we're very young. You realize that we're now at a very unique inflection point, where on one hand we are a very young continent and country, and then on the other hand you start to realize that this young population require more. They need more, better service, better quality from the businesses, from their government. They are demanding it. It's something that they're willing to sit by and accept what our parents accepted. They're willing to now push and make changes.
Curriculum's flagship product, Insight, exemplifies their innovative approach. Insight is a financial analytic tool that evaluates the financial health of entities, revealing unique insights and determining affordability.
Our biggest solution right now that we offer businesses is a solution we call Insights, which is a financial analytics tool that analyzes the financial health of an entity. So it could be a business, it could be a person, and what it does is that we're able to collect data from multiple different sources, for example, bank statement data, credit bureau data if it's available, telco data, etc. And then we analyze that data, we put it into a machine learning process and analyze the data, and it exposes over 80 risk variables that are essential in understanding the financial health of an entity. And those variables are in 5 different buckets, which are like income analysis, spend analysis, behavior analysis. So it shows unique things like if this person has the propensity of being a gambler, for example, or what this person is spending on entertainment in a month, right? For example, right? So then and then at the end of the whole process, it shows you the affordability, what this person can actually afford in real time.
One notable success story is how Curriculum saved the company from closing by reducing its customer default rate.
This is a digital lender, and they lend to all 36 states in the country. And when they came to us, they had a 89% default rate. So they're on the verge of bankruptcy, they were on the verge of closing their doors. So what we did is that we looked at their data, and we collected that data, we looked at the data, and we said, okay, what is the cause of this high default rate company-wide? And then once we did our analysis, we discovered that 14 of the 36 states that they lend money to, they had 100% default rate. 100%, as in every naira they lent out in those places, they never got back. So I won't mention the states or what part of the country they're in. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but so that's what we discovered. And then we discovered on the positive side that one of the states that they had a very good repayment rate was Lagos. So we now, okay, what's, the difference? Why are their customers in Lagos paying back compared to their customers in those 14 states? So what we then did is that we built 2 machine learning models. So one model was stricter, and the other model was a normal, regular model. So when a person applied for a loan, it became from one of those 14 100% default states. It will go through the stricter approval process, loan approval process. So the stricter machine learning model. And if the application came from one of the non-default states, it will go to the normal process. So we did that. We ran the pilot for a month, and after a month, their default rate dropped from 89% to 36% in 1 month. So that's over half. And then I think as of today, I think their default rate is around like 9%. So that's we just literally saved the business from closing its doors because of the high default rates that they were, that they had on their loan book, on their balance sheet, right? So that's just one example out of many examples, but that we have.
Operating in a market where data analytics is still beginning concept poses challenges. Education and data access are primary hurdles for curriculum.
There's 2 challenges that you face as a data company, especially in a new market and something that is kind of new to people. So one is the educational part, right? Having people to understand, like, this is what we do, this is how we can help you. And to overcome that is, running things like pilots with customers, or, having webinars, like what Victoria does, like different outreach things where we actually like teaching people about, okay, this is what we do, this is how it will help your business, providing them with, data on, how we can, increase your revenue, because at the end of the day, businesses that care about the bottom line, how a data-driven approach can increase your revenue by 75% over a non-data-driven approach, right? So that's one issue that we face. So, and how we overcome that is, through the education and the outreach and all that stuff. Another one is actually access to data. So when you operate in like a place like Nigeria, there's data everywhere, but the data is siloed. So each company, each organization has their data, which is all fixed in within their organization, and it's not freely shared, right? So, so with that, this is where we work with different partners. We work with different data partners, and also we work hand in glove with the government regulators as well. So like, NITSTA in Nigeria, NITA in Uganda, the CRB in Kenya, etc., right? So we work really closely with them, hand in glove with them, to help them to create policy that works while not hindering innovation.
While Collins envisions a future where data mobility matches the global movement of people, understanding and listening to customers holistically allows curriculum to predict trends and stay ahead.
We live in a very global marketplace, right? So you could have a business in Lagos, Nigeria, but ship worldwide. You ship to people in Uganda or South Africa, or in the UK or in America or Canada, right? And so we live in a time where you don't see your customer, right? We've gone from having your mom and pop shop down the street where you know everybody in your area, all that stuff, right? To now having global businesses that actually thanks to shipping and everything and logistics, you're able to now ship globally and sell your goods globally. And then the other part is that people are no longer in one location. So they also are starting to, you're born here, but you immigrate there, you immigrate there, you immigrate there. So people are also, very, very mobile, right? So they're all over the place. So what I see, in the future is that data will become as mobile as a company or as a person.
Curriculum is on the brink of launching Prolific, an AI chatbot designed to be trained with specific data to provide accurate answers in multiple languages. Another forthcoming solution is an AI-driven fraud detection system which enhances transaction security.
Prolific is essentially it's an AI chatbot, so it's an artificial intelligence chatbot. So what it does is that you can train. So it's kind of like your own personalized chat GPT, where you can train it with your own data and then ask it questions where you can now get answers on it. So for example, let's say you have a 1,000-page document and you want to get some information on that document. You don't want to read the whole thing because it's 1,000 pages, right? So you can train the ML model with that document, and then you can ask it specific things in the document and it will come out, right? So it's like your own personal chat GPT, right? So that is a product that we're coming out with. It's going to be available in multiple different languages, not just English. So basically our main languages in Nigeria, so Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, it's going to have ability, so you can chat with it in those languages. You can chat with it in Swahili, in Zulu, in French, English, of course. I think we have Kosa capabilities as well. So I think there's Arabic coming in as well at some point. So basically we built it's for Africans by Africans. So it has our nuances, the way we speak and so on, right? So, that's one solution about we're going to be coming out with.
Curriculum also invests in the future by offering an internship program for young tech enthusiasts. Michael Collins' Curriculum is more than just a data analytic company. It is a beacon of innovation and progress for Africa. By understanding and harnessing the continent's youthful energy and abundant resources, Curriculum is not only solving present-day problems, but also paving the way for a prosperous future. In the wake of a global pandemic, mental health issue became more prominent, highlighting the need for accessible mental health care across the world. Now in Africa, a continent with rich cultural diversity and unique challenges, this need was even more critical. Now this is the story of Akoma Health, an innovation mental health platform addressing the mental health crisis in Africa.
Akoma Health came about mostly due to the problem we saw around mental health and people's needs on the continent during the pandemic, but the difficulty of being able to find a therapist or psychologist who could meet the specific needs that people had on ground in Africa. And those were things like somebody that understood your background and context and cultural context, for example, could offer advice and have understanding of family dynamics. My name is Melanie Williams. I am the CEO of Akoma Health and also the founder.
In the heart of Africa, amidst the vibrant cultures and dynamic communities, a silent crisis often goes unnoticed. The mental health struggles of millions have long been overshadowed by more visible challenges. However, during the pandemic, these hidden battles become more apparent, prompting the establishment of Akoma Health.
One of the big issues in Nigeria when it comes to healthcare, and this isn't just mental health, is that people just go one time and then they feel better and then they stop going. So it could be with, let's say, I don't know, they're supposed to be going and receiving some injection every single week. People are going to go once, maybe they'll go twice. Then as soon as they start feeling better, they stop going again. Unfortunately, that's just not supposed to be how it works, because you have to keep going and you have to complete your course of, medication for you to see the full results and prevent future recurrences. So for those that do come consistently, as guided by the psychologist, there are many different instances of where we've seen success stories. We've supported marriages that were maybe on the brink of, separation. We've supported those that were going to medical doctors for years, trying to get a reason and understanding of certain physical ailments they were having, like sleeplessness. They were gaining weight, all these things that just could not be understood by medical practitioners. They came to therapy and realized that a lot of these things were stress induced. And the psychologists were able to help them through talk therapy on over a few sessions each week. We've seen so many instances of postpartum depression where people felt very isolated post after giving birth and needed the support of a therapist because they didn't necessarily have that support within their household, which seems to be more and more common these days. And so there have been many success stories without necessarily sharing details because we definitely respect the privacy of our clients. But there are some general things that we've seen over and over again, specifically when it comes to issues of marriage, when it comes to issues of postpartum, which are key changes in people's lives, when it comes to issues of jobs, promotion, losing jobs, or a lot of people in the workplace getting fired, when it comes to health concerns, especially for chronic diseases. We know that those with chronic diseases are 80% more likely to suffer some form of mental health crisis afterwards, be it depression, anxiety, stress.
From the stresses of everyday life to the complexities of family dynamics, the mental health landscape in Africa is unique. Yet, many were missing the crucial support they needed, unable to afford the high fees of international therapy services.
So, Akoma Health came about mostly due to the problem we saw around mental health and people's needs on the continent during the pandemic, but the difficulty of being able to find a therapist or psychologist who could meet the specific needs that people had on ground in Africa. And those were things like somebody that understood your background and context and cultural context, for example, could offer advice and have understanding of family dynamics, for example. That's somebody that can understand the stresses of having to deal with certain scarcities or availability or traffic and certain stresses that happen on a daily basis and the context of, for example, working and work dynamics. And many people were missing from that angle, but also were unable to afford the high fees of therapy internationally from competitors like BetterHelp and so on. So we decided to build Akoma Health, having spoken to many people like ourselves who face challenges of accessing therapy, and we really wanted to meet the need.
Akoma Health's mission is to increase the quality of human capital by addressing these issues head-on.
The mission is really to increase productivity of Africans, increase the quality of our human capital. And so, as I mentioned prior, mental health issues can actually go on to cause further issues when it comes to how productive you can be at work. It's sometimes you could be showing up and not able to really indulge or connect with the work or connect with your co-workers or think outside of the box because you're so stressed or overwhelmed with whatever life challenges are, how they're affecting you. So what we really want to do is make sure that people are able to show up as their full selves. People are able to show up confidently without their limiting beliefs and really be able to apply themselves productively in the workplace, think outside the box, be fully present when they're contributing to meetings, working on projects, and also be productive in how they contribute to society and their families and so on. So it starts with mental health healthcare for us and applies to many other aspects of life.
Unlike many other platforms, Akuma Health prides itself on a rigorous selection process, ensuring that only highly trained psychologists and psychiatrists are part of their network. These professionals come from various parts of Africa, offering diverse perspectives and care in local currencies.
We have highly trained psychologists on our platform. Those psychologists have gone through rigorous interviews and a selection process to be able to exist on our platform. Many other platforms actually do not have a rigorous process of assessment. They actually allow most people on. Not only do they allow most people on, but most of them are actually also not psychologists. A lot of them are actually therapists, which have a very different level of qualifications and requirements within Nigeria and across other parts of Africa. Number two is not only do we have qualified psychologists, but we have qualified psychologists across Africa. So some of our psychologists are from Ghana, some of them are from Kenya, and many other regions, which allow for, if you want a different perspective from a different region or a different kind of care, we're able to provide that to you also on our platform while being able to pay in your
Stanford Business School, and through rigorous research and partnerships, it has grown into a lifeline for many.
Class I was doing at business school. So I went to Stanford Business School many years ago. And at Stanford, I came up with the idea of building a mental health business. And when I came up with the idea, we started doing the research, and much of the research I've told you about, and we saw a significant gap and opportunity in the market to essentially provide mental health services to Africans in Africa.